All right, in today's devotional, as part of your daily 15-minute habit, this one's about connecting with each other's top worry. So, worries, everybody's going to encounter them. But what often we don't recognize is that our individual worries can cause the rift in the marriage. And so I have a cautionary tale about what happened because we did not know how to process this together. So the short answer was, the short version is I had a worry, and then I would come and ask, well, what do you think about this? Or what do you think? And, I put a lot of weight on it in part because it was sort of in her professional area. And it wasn't really met with sort of openness. It was met with sort of shame, and this created a lot of distance. So I ended up just thinking, I'm just going to solve it myself. I will figure it out. But I didn't know how because it was in a domain I wasn't comfortable with, which was sort of legal employment issues. And it really didn't even have anything to do with it. It seemed like that, and we'll talk about that in another episode based on that earlier conversation. And so what happened was I was in a negative spiral on my own, trying to think it through, and then the decision finally ended up being bad. Now, I do believe, and from this lesson I learned, probably our primary source of comfort and counsel is the Holy Spirit. But to use that as a reason not to find comfort and counsel from each other feels weak. Like our ultimate one should be with the Holy Spirit. But I think within the nature of the relationship, there should still be some of those elements. How do we comfort and how do we form counsel? And in that way, we mature in our likeness with Christ and that aspect of him represented by the Holy Spirit. So I think one way to do it is to have a regular habit where whatever is the top worry, it's to share and connect over it. So the way to share it is to describe the situation and then describe the feelings and response of that situation. Don't make it about the other person, even if you think it is, because then you won't get into it. That's probably time for another one. But really it's to say, there's a situation. Describe what is happening and the resulting feelings, which often relate to fear. Now, after you've shared that, each person then responds silently during this 15-minute to just get connected. How must it feel to have that worry? And how does the burden of that worry affect them? If you don't understand that, you can't get there, then I think it's fair to, with caution, and to ask questions, to get there for you, not to understand in your head and not to solve it. Definitely do not dismiss it. This was the experience that I was having. I would say, I'm worried about this. And she would snap, well, that's in every job. Well, yep, your situation definitely is bad. And it was just sort of go on, like move on from this topic. And so I learned from that, we need skills. How do you do that? In an unspoken way to get from the person's fear to having compassion, right? And I think we can understand that some of Christ's compassion for us was his recognition of our underlying fear. And it's not necessarily fear of the word, it's fear of death, it's fear of God's wrath. And he, because he sees it, is able to present his mercy and compassion. So once we have that, then you want to listen to connect, not just to process, not to take data, not to just to evaluate it. And then once you have that, and if you need help to get to that place of having compassion, then you can be curious, ask to clarify, and then pray for each other's worries. I would also say after that, it's asked if it's okay to come back with ideas. I am a brainstormer. I want input. I want someone to know. I want to know someone's thought about it. They've really genuinely put themselves in my shoes and then said, hey, have you thought about this? I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. And that shows the compassion side, which is a desire for repair. So if you want to ask questions, go to show notes. You'll find a link to this blog post where you can ask questions and read more about other habits that are related to this that can help you on your marriage habit journey. All right, take care.